Hi, Christina. Hi, Mark.
Hi, how we doing? Can you hear me?
Hey, Mark. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. I figured I'd try. I was just on a meeting a minute ago, so
Yeah, no problem.
nothing changed. How are you doing?
Good. I don't know how to, they said at Zoom meetings, if you're using your mobile device, you can turn it horizontal. Oh, it worked this time. When I tried to do it
There. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, Debbie.
yeah, you're there. Good job.
Why
Are you still in the office or did you head home?
I'm still in the office.
Okay.
I got a lot done, so
Good. Yeah,
that
you had a lot
helped.
to do. You had a lot of catching up to do.
It's easier working on the two monitors
Oh yeah, I would agree with that.
when
Yeah,
you're,
it doesn't bounce around nearly as much.
Yeah. Well, and with our laptops, the screen is so tiny and you have to do like
Oh.
spreadsheets and a bunch of stuff at the same time. And you're like, I'm losing my
Oh.
eyesight.
yeah. No, I have to create 54 PDFs, so it's easier doing it on the monitors.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
How many did you get through? Did you get through all of them?
About half, so
Oh, that's not bad.
yeah, so feel good about. How did the dogs do?
They were fine.
Good.
They're all good.
And Mark, how are you doing?
Oh, good. Nothing's really changed for me. I've been working full time, and I run a television studio that we produce 3 different networks out of. So I kind of, they said you are a critical employee. So I've been working 50 hours plus. So it's been
Wow.
and then migrating everything over to remote hosting was been my big chore for the last couple of weeks. So managing that. So things have been going. I've been as busy as I get now. I've got my girlfriend Lisa, who lives with me, and her niece, who lives with us, also are both working from home. So we have a full office going, 2 full offices going here now. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been impressed with all the news anchors working from home and having their little home studios. It's actually making the news more entertaining.
yeah, it definitely can do that for sure. So it's on my side, it's been a challenge to get that to be not as entertaining as it can be. You know what I mean?
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna add my background.
Oh,
Woohoo.
nice.
There, woohoo. I'll turn off my video though once the meeting starts.
Okay.
Yeah. And Christina, yours is pretty.
I found it online.
You did good.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
just my office in my background. In my house. So I have
The natural setting,
Got that
Yeah.
on.
So,
not AI.
no. I probably could put something in here, but I'm working off a laptop because I'm editing on my other system right now.
Yeah.
But how are you doing? How's your world going, Christina?
Mine's good. It's we're trying to gear back up for trying to reopen some of our facilities. We opened the city center on this coming Monday to the public, so that's getting geared up for that, all the staff there. And then it's just, it's been a little crazy. There's a lot of unknowns, so trying to work through all and try to make a course and rec centers and all that. So it's just been a challenge on that end.
Are they going to open the rec center? Is that something that's on the agenda?
Yeah, the plan is to open it to some capacity. Like, I think they were allowing like personal training, which is a little strange because it's hard to social distance. We're looking at reopening some of our group classes, but instead of holding them in one of the small classrooms, we'll move it into the larger gym. The flyover just came over.
Oh, did
Oh,
it?
did it?
Yeah, I forgot about that. It
Oh,
was really
yeah.
loud. Yeah, we're thinking about moving like a lot of the classes into the court area, which is a lot larger and people can spread out. I think we want to try to get it open to be able to do those types of things. It's gonna be a challenge though. It's an indoor facility and social distancing will be somewhat difficult. And I don't know about you, but just walking around with a mask on, it's hot and sweaty and kind of uncomfortable. So I can't imagine going to the gym and doing a full workout with a mask on.
And
So
then you think about those lunatics that wear the oxygen deprivation
Yeah.
masks.
Yeah,
It's
forget
like
that.
you can't even walk around just wearing a regular mask, and you're deliberately doing that to yourself. So
yeah, it's pretty funny.
yeah,
It's interesting.
So Cheryl.
Oh, there's Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl. I have a friend who's an officer in Phoenix, and he goes, yeah, we have a new challenge. He sent me a sketch drawing of Robert at a Circle K or somewhere, and it was a guy with a mask on. He goes, he just made policing really hard when you're trying to identify somebody.
Yeah, definitely. So.
Martin's having trouble getting logged in. Okay. Let's see if okay, I'm going to, well, no, I can't. Hi, Martin. Okay, can you go in on the agenda? So go under inglewoodco.gov. And then in the left corner, it will say government. And under that, there's boards and commissions. Yeah.
Do you realize you're not muted, Debbie?
Yeah. Oh, I'm talking to Martin, so I can't. I'll mute. Oh, no.
I like it, David.
Thanks. The Chambers
Okay, perfect.
went and took a bunch of pictures of murals,
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
and we got a page out there for people to use them as backgrounds. All the
Oh, that's cool.
public murals out there. We got this one too.
Nice.
That one's over by. Hi, Julie. That one's over by Talk Gallery.
Okay,
Yeah, and then
that's cool.
see if I got one more here. This one doesn't come in as well, but
Okay.
you know that's in the Hope Building over off Broadway.
Nice.
A lot
I like
of
it.
fun out there.
That was a good idea.
And this one, you guys will know. We pulled this one off the library's history site. This is old Cinderella City.
Oh, wow.
I remember that very much.
Yeah.
very much as a kid. Was
That is
wondering-
cool.
You remember it, Mark, as blue?
Oh yeah, no, very much so. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I also remember when it was all dark and dingy and burned up, and they had. I remember we went and saw a boxing match once in the basement of that when I was like 16, and it was absolutely terrifying.
Wow. Let's see here. Hey, Tim.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Martin.
Hey,
Howdy, Martin.
howdy.
So we need 1, 2, 2, 3. We need 2 more.
Okay. Brenda, Gray.
1 more. Yeah.
So Leah Beth just texted me and said she's not going to make it.
Okay.
So is that it? Do we have, let's see, Mark.
Clarice.
Oh, okay.
Are you not going to take a roll call?
No, we will. We're just waiting.
Can't we figure out who's going to be here? It's 5:46. Isn't that the procedure? To take roll call to see who's here or not? Or
Usually-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
We go ahead,
Go
Deb.
ahead, David. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Cheryl, sometimes I wait just a little bit for people and then I call to order. But
Okay.
you're right. I mean,
Okay. No, that's fine.
All circuits are busy. Please try your call again later. Announcement 8, switch 5, 8-1.
No.
What's that?
I'm not sure.
So you all can hear that too?
Yeah.
I can't. I think it's Brenda's who was the one making the that had the underline,
Oh,
It's
their
Brenda.
phone.
the indicator, right?
See if we can do this. Yeah,
There.
there you
Okay. Because I was
Oh.
going to say Brenda will have to have her camera on.
go. Oh, okay. Well, Debbie, I think that's it.
Okay. Let me just verify.
I think we have enough.
5, 6, 8. So we have 8 members, majority is 5
Great.
for quorum. So we have 1, 2, 3, we have 4. Because Julie is an alternate right now.
Oh, still?
Right,
Okay,
until the, so you could still do a meeting, you just can't do any official business.
okay.
You could still have discussion, but do you want to, I mean, we can take roll call just to, show that we don't have a quorum present.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is
So-
everybody, just to raise your hands, you okay if we just kind of meet a little bit? You okay with that? Talk a little about a couple things? Okay. So let's go ahead. We'll call the meeting to order at 5:49.
okay. I mean, I can still go ahead and do roll call just so we can show who's present.
Right,
We have David Carroll,
here?
Leah Beth Pohl is not present. Clarice Ambler is not present. Laura Bernero is not present. Martin Gilmore,
Here?
Mark Hessling,
Here.
Brenda Hupka,
Here.
Julie Parker is present. Oh, Julie, you're muted.
I'm here.
Okay, perfect. We have Councilmember Wink.
Here, present.
We have MOA Representative Tim Baca.
Here.
Staff, we have Christina Underhill.
Here.
We have Library Manager Mark Mullis
Here?
and myself, Debbie Severa.
Great.
Thank you.
So thanks everybody for meeting. We really I just thought it would be worth it to meet and touch base a little bit and see where we all are at. But we have had some progress in the creative crosswalks. So I thought we could talk a little bit about that and how we need to move forward with those items. Since we don't have any public comment, right? I mean, we don't have anybody from the outside, Debbie? I'm just going to assume we don't.
Correct, we do not.
So I'm going to just give you an update real quick on the traffic or the traffic cabinets and the creative crosswalks. Over the last, I think, couple of months, thanks to Councilwoman Wink's help and the city's staff, we were able to get the applications that we saw at the last meeting online. And so as I will call it a ghost URL, they're not live yet, but we have an application that can be filled out and applied for. Both, as we've talked about, we have money in our budget to talk about the crosswalks, or to put in one crosswalk and one cabinet. And Tim and his program had, I don't know, Tim, you have how many cabinets?
7.
7 cabinets.
And 1 crosswalk.
And 1 crosswalk. And I don't think we've heard anything from the Bloomberg grant. Nope, anything that we talked about. But the positive side is, so now that we have that application, is that we've put in from the Cultural Arts Commission an application for the crosswalk that had the forks and spoons that we've been talking about for a while. Submitted that through the application process, and Public Works has approved the location, which, as you all remember, was basically across from the community bank to LTEP on, I believe, what they call Old Hampton Avenue. Does everybody kind of know where that spot is? Shake your hands. So really, thanks. The next step for us, and I guess that's what I was hoping to talk about so we could move that forward. And maybe Debbie or Christina or Cheryl, if you have any feedback, is the next step is for us to approve, in this process anyway, for the crosswalks, is to approve the artwork. And so moving forward, I believe what we had said we were going to do is either have a public meeting, and I don't know if that has to be a separate public meeting, or if we could just make it part of our regular agenda item and have that approved in it as through our own agenda items. I don't know if anybody has any comments or that. Because my understanding is, oh, go ahead, Cheryl.
Can you see my hand raised?
Yep, go ahead.
Not this hand. Do you see the other one?
No.
You don't on my screen for you?
I saw, oh, I see. Did you?
Oh, maybe.
Oh, I got you. Yep.
I'm going to make David a co-host too, because then
Yeah, then he
we
can.
will have.
Okay.
Handle that.
Yeah, I think it'll be most efficient to have it during your regular meeting. I think that's what your meetings are for, and can handle that kind of additional agenda item. Also, David, I have a question. Is there any issue regarding copyright? This just came to me, so sorry I didn't bring it up earlier. Is there any issue regarding copyrights of the images we may see presented for the crosswalk art? So let's say I did a crosswalk in Seattle 10 years ago, and I'm the artist, I designed it, and then somebody shows up in Englewood, and I know that that's my artwork. I mean, do people care about that kind of thing?
Sure. That's interesting. I guess Mark, I don't know if you have.
Yeah, I don't know if copyright enforcement is necessarily going to be applicable in a situation like that, just because it's going to be under fair use, most likely is where that would fall, would be my guess. But I think we're going to be submitting different artwork anyway. And at that point, we can just get copyright signed over. And
so whether we're certain or we're guessing, maybe it's a good thing for us to just be certain about it before we push the first one through. But thank you.
Sure, but I'm pretty sure that's going to fall under fair use. So, that's
Cheryl, or Debbie, is that something? Is there some kind of
I'll do it, David.
Format or something through legal that we have to have signed?
I'll consult the city attorney.
Okay.
Okay, I made note about it. So if you're not able to, Cheryl, let me know.
Thanks, Debbie. All right.
Tim?
Yeah, just the artists that we're contracting with in our agreement that we have with them, because we pay the artist, is that they retain all copyright for the artwork that's produced, and that in order to use that anywhere else, they need to receive written permission from us, which we probably wouldn't withhold, but they can use it for general portfolio purposes and things like that. So as long as they're not selling it anywhere else without our explicit permission, that's the agreement we're working with.
Great. And so, Tim, would we need to see that? Would you suggest that as the Cultural Arts Commission approving that, let's say it's not you, it's someone else that submits it, would we need to see that written agreement between let's say it's another organization? I mean, obviously we know you and you said that, but let's say it's some other organization. Would we have to see that written?
I think that's probably a question for legal through the city, but I know, like in our situation, we're commissioning original artwork. So it's brand new, it's never been seen before, and it's specific to Inglewood. So it might be like a case-by-case basis in a way, but legal probably has an opinion about that.
Okay. So I think the next step for us on this crosswalk, guys, is to schedule that meeting at our next, on our next agenda, in our next meeting in June, and whether that's a virtual meeting, or I'm guessing it's going to be a virtual meeting still. And then the only other thing, I guess, in keeping that open, if you remember in our application, we asked for 3 supporting either businesses or residents or community members. Those were part of that application. And I guess the other part of that would be including ourselves and inviting their comment as well, or them attending the meeting if they had any, to share any support for that on the corner there for the crosswalk. Does that sound reasonable that we would invite them and have them comment as well? Everybody thinks so? Yeah. Okay. So that was, that was easier than I thought, actually. That was really it, to just see if everybody agreed to that and just touch base and let you guys know that we're almost there, at least with that. And I know Tim and their group, when they're ready, are going to start submitting applications, and we'll continue to go through that process of us approving that artwork. Yeah, Tim?
I did have one question. So we have 6 of the 7 designs pretty much ready. There's one question. One of the artists addressed the Cheryl trolley, and as you know, it says Cheryl on the side. In their artwork, they depicted it as it looks, with the text. And I know the application says no text. So my question is, and I'm happy to share my screen and show you this, but my question is that going to be an issue, or should we go back to the artist and say, take out the text?
Yeah.
Of the word Sherilyn?
Yeah, on the side of the trolley. I mean, it's sort of seems like a gray line. I mean, I understand why there's no text, but in this case, I don't know. So I'm happy to share this if you guys want to see it.
So maybe we can update the application because I kind of see it, it's obviously letters, right, that form a word.
Yes.
But it almost seems like a logo type of, rather than text, it almost seems like logo. Like text to me, it kind of insinuates there's some grammatical flow, but that's my little head. I mean, I don't know legally what means what, but I would like us to be able to allow for the Sherilyn on the side of the trolley rather than remove it. And so my thought is to modify the application's specifications to allow for that rather than remove something like that, because we may have instances similar to that where we want, where it's relevant to keep the word in there. What do you think, David?
Is that a decision that the Arts Commission makes, in that, to your point, we say we would approve that because it's not a logo and it's not, as you said, Cheryl, text. And I think the intent was we didn't want somebody putting a Budweiser logo, let's say, on every corner. And the other part of the text was, to your point, I think, was the text part of that was, we didn't want anybody to give some kind of political speech or some kind of other text. And so we would have to use our own best judgment as a group to approve. Or does that sound reasonable? So maybe we leave it in there, and to that point, I think we look at that and as a group feel that that still fits within the intent of that application. Yeah, Martin?
I think so. I think you're right. It is up to us, the group, not me, maybe. But yeah, maybe leave it in and leave it up to the group to decide. Does that make sense, Tim? Do you want to show us, since you have it there?
Yeah, I'm happy to show you. Let me see if I can. I think I'm sharing the right desktop. I have several open. I have to grant permission. Maybe this isn't as easy.
Oh.
Hold on. Oh, here we go. Oh, now if I turn the preference on, if I turn the preference on now, it'll quit Zoom. So I can send it out to the group. It also appeared in the case of the Gothic Theater, and I know we don't want to promote I mean, we do, but not directly promote any one business, right? But because it's a historic theater, I don't know if that's going to be an issue. It's kind of hard. Yeah, it's kind of hard to portray a Gothic theater without the word Gothic theater.
I was wondering if we could do that, if we could include language for something that was like historical or culturally significant to Englewood specifically, and just narrow that down. So,
Yeah.
like there are those kinds of. I would think that would. I mean,
So
that part of the architecture, part of the photo,
Yeah.
right?
As
Part
long
of the
as in
picture.
context.
Yeah, maybe historical reference, maybe.
Yeah, historical.
And I think I think in part that's in my mind why the artwork comes to a committee like this, so that we can look at it and make those determinations, because we do say in there, there's no offensive, and I mean, and those that the realm of that and how we all see that is based off of how we, and so I think to your point, say this doesn't violate the logo, this doesn't violate the text, because it is a historic part, and that's the intent of that was not to remove those, but the intent was not to have, like we said, Chevron oil logos all the way across our city in the artwork, for example. Great. And then I'm sure there'll be more as we, not just with, and I'm not saying Tim, but as others maybe want to do stuff that we'll have to, but that's the whole purpose of this group, of looking at that work and trying to come with our best recommendations. Or if we decide to, as a group, to not allow it, part of the process is us reaching back out to that organization and saying, these are the reasons why. And so we would have to at least have a very coherent argument about why we're saying no to it. And it sounds like in this group already, we've kind of agreed that it probably would pass. So if that sounds fair. Okay. So other than that, I don't know, does anybody have, I'll just open it up. Is anybody, welcome, Mark. I guess, Mark, you're new to our group. Do you want to just say a couple words?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So just to introduce myself, I'm Mark Mullis. I'm the new Library and Cultural Arts Manager for the city, which is the previous library manager, John Solomon, I think maybe informally had the cultural arts as part of the scope of what he was doing. It's been formalized now. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I was with the city previously with the library in 2017 and 2018. So got a little bit of exposure to some of the things that we do, the summer concert series and things like that. But this is all fascinating and new territory for me. Anything I could do to support y'all and whatever contributions you need, I'm really excited to go down this journey.
Great. Thanks, Mark. Julie?
I was just saying welcome.
Oh, okay. Great. Well, I know everybody's busy. I just thought it would be good for us to meet since we haven't met for a while. Just let you guys know that the application is, we're working through some issues there. I think me just filling it out with the crosswalk found a couple that, it just didn't quite work the way we thought it was. So we've shared that. And then we'll go through this process of the crosswalk, and then hopefully others and get better at that and work with. The intent was to go through these processes with us and Tim as both kind of friendly applicants. And so when things didn't quite work the way they were supposed to, we would, work all together as a team to make those changes, and then release that out to the public and make that open to anybody that wanted to put a crosswalk and go through the process themselves. So, all right. Oops, let me see. Okay, well, if that's it, then I don't know. Does anybody have anything else to do or say? I'm sorry.
A question, are we back on the schedule then as far as Zoom meetings, or do we know when things are going to open up for regular meetings again?
Debbie, I believe that is the intent, is that we would do this on our regular day like today, the first Wednesday at the 5:45, and then continue to do Zooms. I don't know if Christina or Cheryl or anybody, Is that kind of what you understand as well, that you guys are going to be doing this as well?
I understood that, well, not all boards and commissions are having regular meetings. I know the quasi-judicial boards are, and we are not one of those. I understood this as a one-off, but maybe Debbie has more. What do you think, Debbie?
You know, my understanding was that the meetings were to resume starting in May, but I think, you know, boards are, that if there is not, you know, agenda items or, you know, any business, then they can decide to cancel the meeting. So I think it's just kind of a as needed basis.
I can say that nobody in the city is going to be disappointed or upset that we're meeting. And so I think if we have the appetite for it, and especially since we have work that's moving forward, I think it'd be exemplary to keep meeting on a monthly basis via Zoom.
Great.
Yep.
And Martin, I'll just say I've had some meetings. I know Chris, the director of marketing, has, and I think others have kind of been excited about if there was some opportunity to do these kind of distant pop-up concerts or something like that. I think that still needs to be determined on what the guidance would be moving forward, but saw that as a way to maybe enliven our city, but at a distance maybe, or something.
I think we can probably do that. Maybe even just hire solo musicians to go do something. If I don't know, I mean, I would assume we could do the social distancing thing, though there's all sorts of discussion about singers and all this stuff. So I don't know. I just was reading an article about that from the college anyway. So yeah, we could talk about that. I can come up with some ideas and try to fit within the safety parameters and all that.
Maybe Martin and I could do a flute and guitar duet.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
As long as there's no singing, huh? That's the issue?
Well, that's the concern, is like that you can't get far enough away. I don't know. I just read a new article about that. They're all concerned. So anyway.
And Tim, you guys, do you fall under the retail, the safer guidelines of retail?
You know, we really don't know. We're thinking so, but there's no real specific guidance as far as like cultural organizations go, which is unfortunate. We are planning to hopefully reopen, you know, with like no more than 10 people at a time by June 1st. And we'll just have to see how that goes. It is our hope that we will be able to use the Hampden Hall ticket box, since they won't be using that for events, and let people in that way. As you know, the doors connect through Hampden Hall to MOA. So that way we have a nice barrier for our, you know, registration desk people. And also the good news is we are able to extend the Rauschenberg show, it looks like through March. So we had to cancel our fall exhibition, but this will give people plenty of time to see this Rauschenberg show. So that's great.
Great. All
Would
right.
it be beneficial, Tim, to have any city support in terms of markers, you know, for the floor, any markers about spacing, for the exact spacing for the no more than 10 individuals once you do open, or anything to that effect, or are you set?
Well, we've been I went to the building the other day to check in on some things, and I noticed there are markers in front of the courts.
Right.
So we'll probably put some stanchions out if the city has any additional floor markers for, you know, queuing in the outside the ticket window. That might be beneficial. Otherwise, we're gonna put our own markers within Hampden Hall. The other thing is we're only going to be promoting reserved tickets, which it comes with a time slot. So we don't want people showing up without a reserved time slot. So that way we can really control how many people come. So I think we'll be okay. We're making some signage in-house.
Okay.
But thank you for offering that.
Okay.
All right. One last time. Anybody have anything else? All right. That might be one of our faster meetings. 20 minutes. All right.
Hey, it's
Well,
great
thank
to-
you guys. Appreciate it. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you all. Nice to meet you all.
Welcome, Mark.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. You need anything
Yeah.
else from us?
No, no,
Okay.
we're good. Thanks
Okay.
for all your help.
Uh-huh.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.